So, we are live.
We are, and we also have a special guest with us, someone that has not been on our live stream before, but he's here for a very good reason. So I think we should let Raphael do his own introduction.
Hello, everyone. I'm Raphael from Formex, and yeah, happy to be on this live, even though I've seen Dave more than I've seen my own family in the past 2 weeks.
I could very much say the same, because we have been in the United States where the launch of the product that we're going to talk about took place, and then actually we were in my homeland of Scotland for a follow-up for a British/European launch of it as well. But here we are live to talk all about, well, an exciting project that ourselves at HORAGE and the guys at Formex have been working on for, what was it we worked it out, Raphael, 2.5 years?
Yeah, I would say that's about right. 2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, and suddenly it's all alive. So we should maybe introduce what it is that we're talking about and why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and basically I forgot that Raphael is actually also in Biel, so there should be on his label a Biel sticker. Dave is in Glasgow, I'm in Biel, so we are how far away? Probably 2 kilometers away, I guess.
Not even.
Not even, with less. Beeline is probably less than a kilometer.
Yes.
And in the heartland of watchmaking, if someone has not yet understood where Biel is, that's where we are. Yeah, it was a. Let me also do. People should say if there's something wrong with the sound. Did we get any? Please notify it in the comments. But it looks okay. I think synchronization is also okay. And we test another view here. Yeah, so can also be like that. You know, we have a lot of tech going on. Hopefully, the computers don't go down. But
let's hope they don't.
At that.
Yeah, any sound comments, but I think we're so good so far, Andy. Everyone's saying everything is good, and we've got in the background the bold Leo doing the technical. Any questions, please do put them into the live stream, and they will get pushed over to us by Leo, who will make the best effort to do that, and we will answer them as we go. And of course, if we miss any at the end, we'll give you an opportunity to catch up.
Also, a side note, I'm not actually child-sized. I'm just further away from the camera, I think.
I can make you bigger.
Oh yeah, not too big.
Oh wait, we can't play this game. We can't play this game because then it'll be he was bigger than me. He's smaller than me.
Now I'm too big.
David is a small child in the middle now. But yes,
we make it look this nice, beautiful movement in the background. And I think we stick with this virtual green screen stuff here because I just like it. Yeah, I would like to say something about, because some people ask me why, and then I said, friends. I would say we know each other, Raphael, since first time I saw you just coming fresh from university. Is that right?
I think so. That was in the old Dexel location, sitting around the table.
That was in the old Dexel location, sitting around the table with your father, and we were talking about movement. And you were. Did you have at this time the brand already?
No. That was a few years before. Yeah.
Okay, and it's probably 2013 or something like this. 12, 13.
12, I would say. Yeah.
I think we were actually getting together because we were looking for partners and investors, and your father was interested in having a look at what we are doing. And then Raphael was showing up, and then he said, he's skydiving, snowboarding, all these kind of things. I mean, I'm not skydiving, but I'm snowboarding, mountain biking, living an active lifestyle. And that was our first contact, I would say.
Exactly.
And since this time, we have been always very, very, how to say, connected or
engaged.
I mean, having the occasional coffee or the lunch at our favorite Italian restaurant just around the corner.
Correct.
And then obviously also traveling the world for the watch shows. And also a few years back, we did a road show together with Kathleen from Red Bar, the CEO of Red Bar Global. And we went on a couple of road tours after the wind-up shows, which was a very fun time as well.
And when So when did you move into that new building?
That was
That
in
was 2 years ago.
2023. Yeah.
2023, yeah.
Yeah,
And then I
almost
think
3
we
years.
talked a little. That's when we talked a little bit more on movement. I mean,
Possibilities.
people possibilities, what can be done, and that was pretty much also when we had our first test with K2 in the market, and we were getting increasingly sure that the whole thing works. And for the people who probably don't know what we do, some people know that, but we are making movements. A couple of them, you can see them in the background. We started with a K1. Then we did the tourbillon. That was something which made us famous a little bit, I would say. We were never really seen as that. Then K2 and K2 micro rotor, and recently also K3. And I think the choice of Raphael was pretty much a K2 micro rotor project. And since there's not so many out there, that's what we did. Yeah. And probably a little short additional explanation on that micro rotor. We have several different versions of that. There's a 2.9 version, which is a 3-hander. That's what you actually find in this beautiful watch. Then there's a 3.3 millimeter version for the date, and then there's a 3.6 millimeter version, which we use on GMTs and whatever else. So nobody knows what's coming down the road if you decide on other models or whatever. First thing was to get this off the ground, and that's where we started. And sure, there's a lot of things to do and figure out and get that right.
And I think Yeah. And one of the things that you mentioned there, Andy, is, the different thicknesses that this caliber is available in. Of course, the thinnest being 2.9. And that was something that was important to you, Raphael, for this watch, because one of its headline features is the thinness of this watch. We shouldn't use the word thickness because that's doing it a disservice. But this was one of the features of the caliber that really let you lean into that kind of design and style that you wanted for this watch. Maybe give us a bit of a background about what your thinking was behind the Aria watch, because that's what it's called. We should mention that as the Formex Aria.
Yeah, so overall watch head thinness has always been a big topic for Formex since we took over. So we're always trying to limit the thickness. Also the Essence models, they're just above 10 millimeters for a SW200, which is at 4.6 millimeters thick. And I don't know, I'm just a sucker for thin watches. And I also have a micro rotor movement, a Bulgari Octo Finissimo, which I just love. I love the wearing experience of it. And I'm mesmerized every time I wear it, the way it wears, the thinness, but also the lightness. That's something that just always impressed me, and I wanted to try our hand at it, and combining it with an integrated bracelet, because that's also a style of watch that I personally very much like. And we never had one before, so that was the perfect occasion. I think the integrated bracelet watches are especially nice when they're thin. So that was just kind of a trifecta of perfect conditions for us to do something like that.
Let me also
And obviously,
bring a watch here. We want to see the watch, yeah.
and a lot of, obviously,
You
a lot
just keep
of,
talking, I'm doing some stuff
yeah,
here.
he's doing stuff in the background. Andy likes to tinker technically whilst we're actually broadcasting, but that's Andy for you. Yes, the watch itself, Dexel, who are the parent company that your father owns, that the brand Formex is part of, very well known for the engineering when it comes to bracelets and clasps, and obviously you've got the alignment with the dial company as well. So this watch is really about being a complete package.
Yes, and it's not really a parent company. It's actually technically a separate company, and Dexel is also not invested financially in Formex.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is something I took over personally, and we keep that separate, but obviously there are synergies in terms of what we can do. Engineering input from Dexel has been very strong from the beginning, because otherwise we couldn't have done or have made the models even from the first essence we've developed. And nowadays we're much more self-sufficient in terms of, you know, the teams we have. When I started, it was just me when I took over. Then pretty soon I got my best friend Marcus on board, who took care of the marketing and still is. And my light just went off. Um,
Oh,
I'll turn on the lights
You're
in
the
the
dark.
room. Yeah, yeah, I'm sitting in the dark.
Not
Sorry.
not moving too much. There we go.
All right. Yeah. So, and then I got Marcus on board, and now today we're a team of 15, so we can spread out the work a little bit more. And also part of these 15 is a good part of it is production team, because we do manufacture and we also assemble a lot of our no, all of our stuff ourselves. And yeah, that comes with a lot of logistics complexity and you know, the quality testing. So it requires quite a lot of human resources that we're still looking to build up the team now.
Which is where I think
That's
there's
what I
lots of
also
synergies.
said. I think there's also something I said several to the people, you know, I think why does that make sense is also because you share an engineering driven approach to watchmaking, and you are on the mechanical, on the structural part of the watch, which is basically the whole bracelet, dial, case, buckles, and we share our engineering culture in making movements, and both. When you have this type of culture, I think then it's much more easy to work together, because people understand basically what you are up to, and when you look at that watch, that is of course some seriously slim exercise, and for a slim watch you need a slim movement, otherwise that thing doesn't work out. I heard some people said, okay, how slim can you go? I was just following some Instagram comments. Yeah, is it still waterproof? Of course it's waterproof. It's just, as you correctly said, probably the heart pressure is something you need to take into account, but it's not a problem to have no waterproofness or anything like that.
Yeah, so the 3 ATM rating is basically only the limitation of the pressure proofness of the both of the glasses, because they're pretty large in diameter and very thin, obviously. And we do pressure test them underwater, obviously, to 3 ATM. But structurally, it's not safe to expose them to 100 meters at a prolonged time. But what we do is, once they're assembled, we use Vichy air pressure waterproofness tester, and we test them actually to 100 meters. So it's actually a watch you can wear, you know, definitely wear to wash your hands, definitely wear in the rain, definitely take a shower with it. I'm not a showering with my watch type of guy personally, but you can definitely do that, and it will also be fine for the occasional jump in the pool or cooling off in the summer. So yeah, obviously that was a topic, but we would never put a label on it that, you know, our watches, if it says
kind of exercise,
yes, if it says 100 meters, you can put it on your fishing rod and drop it down to 100 meters. And we want to be able to sleep with everything we put out about our watches. So 3 ATM was a careful
and that's
publication.
another shared mindset, as both of us, you know, as brands and as people and as individuals and teams. It's about transparency. You know, we are straight, clear, and honest about all of the different facets of our product. It's not an exercise of pulling the wool over people's eyes. So I think that's a big thing about it, and we're quite as open to answer the questions. You know, not every watch is perfect for every person, and every question is valid, but we're happy to address any of these questions that go with the watches. And look at that run of
everybody
3
gets
watches.
one of them. You can put the
one
head
each.
underneath that watch, you know.
Yeah.
Damn, this technology, I love it.
don't know whether it's the right colors in terms of what we like, but yeah, I mean, the market has received them very well, and I think, like many products, you know, we've been out and we've shown them to people, and I think pretty much everyone without fail that's actually had a hands-on with it having only seen images or pictures before, has been blown away by it. Because sometimes with these watches, you have to physically get up close, either see it in a high definition video stream and see it in virtual real life, or physically in real life as well. The movement as well, I think the big part of this was the decoration of it, bringing that in to make this into the Formex identity. Oh, Andy.
And he's gone, and he left us a little swear word before leaving.
Left us a little bomb there. Oh, he's back.
Heart attack. Heart attack.
Yeah, there we go. We're back. Andy pressed did Andy press the wrong button? Hopefully not.
But I pressed the wrong button.
I love it. He follows up the I love technology with the
And you should get a production team for this much technology.
I thought a lot about that. That since I'm selling watches like that to people all over the world, if you have a production team, the customer acquisition cost is too high, so it doesn't work.
Definitely.
It must be operated by one person, and that's me. I just shouldn't be so stupid to press the wrong button.
Andy likes lots of buttons. We're still here. We're still live. Absolutely. But yeah, the decoration of this movement,
we have a
Raphael.
question here.
Yeah. We have.
Any chance to have, instead of a micro road, another barrel or a manual movement?
I probably need to. It might make sense to clarify a little bit how we make movements and what we can control and what is easy to do and what not so easy to do. I think we take a couple of minutes doing that because it's helpful to do that. You have seen we have a couple of movements. So people might ask, how the hell can those guys who are not the big guys make these movements? And that has something to do that we put a lot of brain into the architecture question. So traditionally you have made the left side, you made a movement, there were millions produced, something slapped something on top, and then you have module. Then we did this kind of modularization with K1. But we quickly figured out that if we want to change something on the function that's leading to a new movement project, that is a little bit difficult. And then we came into the semi-integrated sandwich idea that we actually build specific platforms for certain movement combinations. And that made it obviously much more easy to configure new movements out of that. And on the other hand, we are looking at this kind of stuff. So we are having we are controlling all these components in all these movements, and we are harmonizing them over different movements. So on the left or the right side, you see this percentage rate of how many movement parts are shared across movements. Now you might think, as the question says, it's easy to make a hand wound or whatever thing, but that is not so easy. Yes, it is probably technically not an issue, but you need to handle all of that. And we don't want to have too many things to handle and too quickly to do that, because you need to quality control everything. Sure, of course, we have in the product line also hand wound movements. We know that from the tourbillon, you can strip away the tourbillon, it's a hand wound movement. But that means you need a full set of infrastructure, quality control mechanisms, testing mechanisms in place, because we are talking microns. And when you want to produce that, especially for a partner like Formex, which is in that case the customer of us, we need to be 100% sure that we don't run in the wrong way, and that modifying stuff comes always with a lot of work. So we try to avoid that. Yeah. The others are not loud enough. Okay, a little bit. I can tune you up. But just the production team on the side is monitoring stuff. Huh? Mich selber, yeah. I can also make myself a little bit louder. Okay, good. Coming.
Hopefully
okay, so
good.
that's
Please
basically
comment.
everything we do is kind of modularized, but just making another one just like that is not an easy game. We all have to be clear on that. We are not in the bricolage game. We are industrial level movement making, and that requires stable process, long testing periods. Even if we generate a new movement, you can roughly say you need 2 years of testing and things like this behind it. Okay, I hope that answers the question, but for sure we have the capability to do also hand wound or other things in this regards. Okay.
There's an interesting question actually saying, can the guys at HORAGE compare the movement to some of the other premium micro rotor movements in the market? They've
Shall I
heard
be
that our
brutal now?
spec is far above. Well, I think we can be honest, brutally honest. One of the big features of this movement is it's extremely modern and it has lots of technology baked in. Let's talk a bit about maybe the silicon, and we can also talk about some of the Liga process in there as well.
Yeah. So why is the product so, I would say it's superior at the moment. There are not many movements which are from the ground up, newly developed with a modern architecture, with latest technology. This is something you don't see everywhere. We have started this with the K2 caliber. It was first time launched in a watch called Superseed. And from the beginning of our work, we have bet, for example, on silicon. Yeah? Silicon was a highly controversial exercise. It was protected by patents, so we were going through this whole process. But when we started making movements, it was increasingly clear in 2008 that if, first of all, patents will run out. Second of all, if we, by the unlikely event, survive the movement development after 10 years, not going bankrupt, then we will have to have competitive regulating technology, and that means a hairspring made of silicon and an escapement made of silicon. Because these two things actually increase the performance and the precision of a movement drastically, and it is the future. And we just need to look at last year's Land Dweller launch. Finally, Rolex, after more than 20 years being part of this silicon group, put the latest movement onto a full silicon spec, including an optimized escapement. So I would say that HORAGE and Rolex are the only two companies today, and thus having said Formex, which have a fully optimized silicon regulating infrastructure inside of this movement. When we look at Omega, there's some parts are silicon, but the other parts are classic escapement, for example. Everybody's using a little bit, but nobody has taken it to this full level in order to get this performance out of the watch. And the precision comes from the spring. Of course, we all know that. The balance spring is 1/3 less heavy, or 2/3 less heavy. That means the positional error is not as heavy. It's non-magnetic. You will never have any magnetism issue with this kind of thing. We have recently stuck it into a MRI at 30,000 Gauss. Yes, the watch stops afterwards, but it starts running when you pull it out again. So we report on that. And on the escapement, why do we have such power reserves? Yeah. The escapement is usually responsible for consuming the energy. The energy, the friction, so transferring energy towards the balance. We can say we optimize the escapement and we are using nearly 28% less energy on the last step. And that energy is being used to increase the power reserve. And this power reserve, so this less energy means we need less torque on the escapement. Less torque on the escapement means we can use a longer, softer mainspring, and this longer, softer mainspring leads to 72 hours power reserve. When I compare that to some other, and I can do that, when I compare it to other movements, I mean, there are not many micro rotor movements in this world. Yeah? You have the, as you said, the Bulgari, you have the Patek Philippe, you have the Bosch Manufacture, probably one of the very famous ones, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so probably some of them lending some technology from something else. I have a benchmark if you want to have a look at that, because probably that's interesting. Looking at that, yeah, here. So Raphael, when you put your, I can make you go away. That's okay.
No.
I can make you a little. I make you a little bit smaller. Okay. That's okay. So that left one is a Patek Philippe 27 2.53 3 Hertz. Don't forget that 3 Hertz, 48 hours. That was at least when I dug out these numbers. And the Hertz rate in relation to the power reserve usually says something about the technology being applied. And then we have Rocher Manufacture. They have now a version of with 2.5 or 2.6 millimeter, which they're showing in the APHG. And they have, I think, the 3 hertz and somewhere 48 or 50 something improving already. And then we are here with 2.9 with 72 hours power reserve and 3.5 hertz. And this indicates a very clear, including some functions built in. Yeah, we have to consider that we also need some space for functions and modules. So I would say, without being overly proud, that we do some pretty serious good engineering here, because that is a clear indicator that we don't cut corners on the hertz rate. We don't go too thin. You know, I mean, there are some rules. When you go too thin, you get other problems during assembly. You fix the movement in the case, you're bending that thing. So we are COSC level certifiable, which is also important. And this, I would say, gives us a pretty good head start on or level of engineering, and everybody can trust that this is the latest stuff. Okay.
Hopefully that answers the question for you then. So yes, the silicon componentry and all of this technology, of course, features in the K2 and the movement, which I believe you're calling the FX01. That's how you're naming it within your watch, which is the FX01 based on the K2 by HORAGE, and it's got all of this silicon technology in there. And then
to be honest, it is the K2, like not really based on the K2.
Absolutely.
So in full transparency,
by the way, I have here. I have somewhere here.
Yeah.
I have both here.
Oh, you have them there. Great.
Yeah.
Well, send that to us. We need it. And
yeah, I know.
Quick, send them a movement.
You know, we had
so
extra,
I've seen in the comments people asking, will you make more later? Yes, we're talking about what the lead times will look like for the next batch of them.
Correct.
And we didn't really plan for them to sell out this quickly. We thought it was going to take a bit longer because it's a product that is a couple of times what our regular offering will cost or costs currently. It's about double of a Ceramica, almost double of a Ceramica. The top end line with meteorite dials, and it's like 3 to 4 times what a regular Essence will cost. But people asked us, are we trying to run away, to higher price points? Or are we trying to leave our customers in the dust? And that is not the case. This is an expression of us having the opportunity to work with such a technologically advanced movement, which gave us a lot of freedom in terms of how thin we can get, how creative we can get in terms of design with the case and the bracelet, and even the dial. And also the philosophies of the companies that match, as Andy mentioned, we're very engineering-centered companies. Formex as well. I've seen a very, very funny comment here saying, "Oh, another company made with daddy's money." Great, that's a very nice comment, but that is completely wrong, because who financed the rise or the relaunching of Formex is actually you guys. And I see a couple of you guys in the comments. You know who you are. We did a Kickstarter, and which literally kickstarted Formex back into the game. Admittedly, it took a couple of years because we also didn't want to take outside investment. We also didn't invest ourselves. So obviously the start before the Kickstarter, we had to invest a little bit. But it's actually laughable compared to what you would calculate to relaunch a brand or found a new brand. So the real money came from the customers putting their trust in us for the Essence that we launched through the Kickstarter. And then we grew the company exclusively through the sales. So we financed our whole growth through the sales, and whoever founded a company or took over a company to relaunch it knows that this is not always easy, and cash is always, or what used to always be a problem, or used to always be tight, and also limited us on the growth rate, because we couldn't invest heavily into marketing. So we always depended on the product being the marketing, and we marketed our product with our very humble means to the actual core or hardcore watch collectors and enthusiasts. And that led to them maybe talking to their friends about it. We showed up to, all the wind-up fairs, all the direct-to-consumer fairs, or Watch Time Düsseldorf, and then slowly but surely we also got some recognition from the watch press. Some of them, admittedly, very early on, who supported us because they believed in the product. And I think there's also parallels to be drawn between the two companies there, and that's why it's also a great match. So I think it's a great match on many different levels between the two companies. And I've also
you
seen
could literally
somebody asking if we're going to make more. Yes, and you can also schedule appointment in Biel here at our headquarters in our showroom. As of now, you can contact us through support@formexwatch.com to schedule a meeting and check out the watches.
And I think
Yeah,
everything
I mean,
you just said there.
I think probably people have no damn clue how much money it costs to build a brand and to make movements. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
any financial resources available anywhere, no matter if it's from a father or from a campaign or from anybody, is welcome. Just to make
Yes,
that
and
very clear, because you can't do that out of thin air. Yeah.
no,
For example,
no.
we have spent, I calculated roughly until today to get to where we are today, and we spent most of the money on making movements, nearly 30 million Swiss francs. And there is no 95%. You need to make it to the finish line, and that is a pretty heavy exercise. So, and building a brand is probably even going to get, on the long run, even more expensive when you have to do that. So I have great respect, and I still remember when we got to know you, and you said, yeah, this young guy is really hardworking. said that, yeah, that's good. That's why we should support all of this, and we are not part of a big group or anything like that. It's easy to spend other people's money, but
I think if that were the case,
yourself.
we would have never made this model. The beauty of having taken the brand to where it is today is that we retain 100% freedom. And I think just from a commercial standpoint, people were pretty confused about the price point because they're like, "Why? What's happening? Why?" That our existing customers, maybe a little bit apprehensive and scared that they're not going to be able to buy watches from us anymore. But as I mentioned before, this is kind of us going completely bonkers in terms of what Formex can do, and it's also kind of a showcase of what is possible in terms of when design and engineering really go hand in hand. And it should be looked at as a concept car from a car manufacturer with the tiny detail that you can actually buy this. but the development and innovation process behind it, or thought behind it, is that what we've learned from this project will ultimately trickle down to all of the collections. And in terms of a commercial success or marketing success of this product, it certainly got the attention of people who wouldn't necessarily have looked at Formex, which is also great news for any of our customers.
Absolutely.
No.
And we should also talk about other things, because this watch is not just about what you can see. We know that it's very slim. We know that it's a great looking integrated bracelet, but there is technology that's baked into this movement and, of course, this watch that you cannot see. And that's all about this flexible gear train. And the beauty of this is it's something you can't see. It's something that's infinitesimally small. You can see a picture there behind you. It's literally smaller than the head of a match. And it is something, though, that you absolutely will understand is there as you make use of the watch. Everything that you have to do in a watch, you have to wind it up, you have to pull that crown out, and you have to adjust the hands to set times. Maybe you go on holiday, you want to move the time, clocks go backwards and forwards. Maybe you've not worn it for a week and you have to put some power in it and reset the time. And that really frustrating little moment where you set the time exactly, then you push the crown back in to hack the watch. And what happens when you push the crown in? That hand just moves a little fraction and you get really frustrated with it. And there's a little video, Andy. You could maybe just show this little video, and that gives us some concept of what is happening here.
There's some sound. So we don't feel it. Good. So why is the question. I think every mechanical movement consists of gears. And oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong picture here. Getting out of that. Let's go back here. So every mechanical watch has a couple of gears. You know, they all work the same. There's a main bearer, there's a reduction gear system, there's an escapement, and there is ultimately a balance system. And somehow, at some point, you need to come in with your crown and overcome this tension between the balance system and the main bearer and set the time. And that is called, and in between, there's a hand setting mechanism, and there's a friction clutch kind of thing, the hands friction, which you call it. And this hands friction part is outside of the power flow, you call that. And when you have effectively a gear system which is not under tension, because there is no power from outside of that watch, you will have gear play. This is something you, how to say, it's not about cannot avoid, it's just there. And depending on how many transfer wheels you have involved, because you need to get from the crown to somewhere into that gear train and towards the hands, you will have a stack up of tolerances. And in order to avoid these tolerances influencing the hand setting mechanism too much, we have been coming up with this type of flexible gear. It is not our idea. This kind of things has been around for a long time. It is slowly getting inroads into the watch industry. The guys from Argenor, I think specifically the father of the current two people, they are today in this category. And did you hear something? I did hear something.
That was me.
Oh. Okay. And then Rolex also has been integrating this type of solution into their movements in order to make this user experience better. Having said that, there is no zero movement. There is always a little bit movement because it's a mechanical thing, and mechanical things need play to work. And if they don't have play, they create too much friction. And when there's too much friction, your watch will not run very well, and it will not run very long. So this kind of things, you need to find a trade-off between how do you reduce this play and while not having too much influence on the performance of the watch. And here we have designed this kind of thing where you see these specific arms with no supporting middle structure, like you can see it on the Rolex or some other designs which are out there. And that was a heavy engineering exercise, I would say. And this gave us a really very good performing product. I can show that again if this is interesting. I think it is interesting. I just need to go myself away, I think. Then I can get away with the sound. So you can see that now very clearly that there is actually something moving back and forth. So we can see that. And the job is to reduce this amount as much as we can. And that's where these teeth come in, and they are squeezing themselves in between these non-flexible teeth. And when that happens, then we can reduce this amount of play. So nice, very technical solution. The whole thing is produced in the Liga type of technology. So it's kind of a lithographic thing. So here we are.
Yep, it's a combination of lithography, galvanizing, and molding.
Yeah. So in simple terms, you could say that this this wheel is actually grown. It's not machined.
Yeah.
It's not subtractive manufacturing. It is additive, but it's
Correct.
actually grown atom by atom via galvanic
Deposition, galvanic
Yep.
deposition
deposition
Deposition.
process.
of
Yeah.
Yeah.
atoms, yeah. And in a more practical sense, what that means for us as a watch manufacturer, or especially for you guys out there as a customer, why is it so important to eliminate this backlash? As Andy said, you set it exactly to the atomic clock. You wait for the second hand to come around, and then you push the crown in, and it jumps. And it's even more important for these calibers because they're actually cost certified. We've
Yeah.
also seen a lot of comments comparing the Aria to models with micro rotors, or also manufacturer micro rotors in the 2000 or 3000 Swiss franc or US dollar category. But I don't think that's where you should compare it.
Mm.
And there is very few micro rotors that are actually chronometer certified. Some of the manufacturers obviously claim it's regulated to almost cost spec or regulated to
They
cost spec.
Yeah.
write their own rules,
Yeah, but actually sending it there
It's a
and
different
having
game.
it tested in different temperatures, different positions during 14 or 15 days is a whole other story, and it's not an easy feat to achieve, especially with
No.
ultra thin movements.
Yeah.
And I would also urge you guys to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because in the couple of coming weeks, we put together a video about the manufacturing of pretty much all the parts. So the movement, there's gonna be some interview segments in there, and every couple of weeks we're gonna publish another chapter talking about how we made the Aria, how we came about, and giving you some more background information on all these technical things, and how things are actually manufactured as well. And we were talking quickly about the decoration, which is pretty much the only part of the movement Formex really had involvement in, which was also a month-long process, because and the team in product development, put us in touch with CMT Rickenbach, which is a decoration specialist, laser decoration also, mainly, but also galvanizing. And we sat together with them because we wanted to apply something that is really our own to Formex, and matches our design philosophy. And we did already have a custom decoration on a Soprod caliber, which was kind of similar. So we had the laser ablation, laser texturing, but we also had to be mindful of cost. So you cannot do, hand hammering. You couldn't also do hand hammering too well on such a thin caliber. You don't want to take a hammer to that to that movement.
Nope.
So
And some engineers
what
and watchmakers will have something against this whole let's finish to the hand until it's dead.
Yeah. No, but using a laser is also very high tech, but it looks amazing. So we created this texture point by point, basically, chose the right grain size, and it is kind of a grain. It's a mix between a grain, or it sits in between a grain and a sandblast, because it's very fine. We wanted it to be very elegant. And then the edges of the bridges, you see the vertical brushing, that is actually done by hand. And if you look at the grain finish, it reminds you of the top side of the watch, the dial, which is also a pretty complex exercise in manufacturing and also designing, because the 3D structures of the dial was something we had in our heads. When we worked on it, but we tried to do it prototype while machining. And a quick note on the overall design of the Aria. Aria meaning wind or air in Italian. We wanted to create an integrated bracelet design that doesn't look, very angular, very architectural, like many of them do, which I also quite like. But I wanted to do something different, and we got inspired by shapes in nature that are shaped by the elements. So the Aria should look like a conventional integrated bracelet watch that somebody dropped into a river for a couple of 100 years, and then when you take it out, you get all these rounded
Then it's
shapes.
edged off. Yeah.
And actually, every single link has this slight curve that you can only almost not see. You can see it. Wait, let me. Okay, because it's spiegelverkehrt.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
mirrored.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
now you
you
took it
cannot
away.
see it
How
away.
can you do that to me,
Wait,
Andy?
here. Yeah,
Leave me hanging here. Yeah. Okay. So on this edge,
And his
oh my
finger
God, it's
didn't
very
move.
hard. On this edge, you can see a slight curve.
yeah,
It's not very recognizable by the naked
yeah.
eye, but overall, when you wear the watch in your hand, it adds this organic shape.
But
And
that's,
then
by the way,
also,
the trick. Yeah.
yeah,
If you
and
That's
don't,
the trick.
it's not so blunt. It's subtle, and
and
that makes
also
it
like
good.
over here, when you see it, oh,
Yeah,
my hand disappeared.
yeah,
Over here, this thickness of the case
yeah.
middle actually corresponds exactly to the thickness of a
Edge of the
link,
link.
which is also
So you,
pretty rare. But that was one of the things I had in mind from the beginning, which also makes it very harmonious in terms of design, I think.
no,
It is a
I think it's
very complete package. I think so many people that have had a hands-on with this watch, the first comment they make is it just feels great on the wrist. And, you know, I think you guys and ourselves are on board with that whole concept of you can make the prettiest watch in the world, but unless it wears well, then it's not the complete package. It has to feel great on the wrist. And at the events we've been at, we've had people with tiny wrists and huge wrists trying this on, and it just kind of works on everyone.
How many versions did we need for getting this decoration done?
I think about 10 prototypes, bridge prototypes. And then I think we went through 100 kilos of 3D printing resin for the whole thing, you know, the dial. And I said we tried, the dial has these 3D shapes so that the indexes are actually sitting on a little slope, on a little platform. They're sunken into that little platform, and then you have these little peaks going down behind the index. And this is something that should be reminiscent of a rock sitting in a creek or in a river, and the wake it creates with the water behind it is what we had in mind for this shape. But to actually make that in such a paper thin dial, we tried a prototype machining it. It took about 36 hours of machining it out of a brass block. That was great. And then also the machining bit actually, while taking off the material, pulled material up. So you had all these little craters and things we didn't want. So we couldn't actually
machining
get it.
marks.
We couldn't get a good, even after finishing and the adoucissage and the sandblasting, it looked terrible. So what we had to do is make a call there, make an executive call to actually launch the stamping tool, which, you know, in Switzerland is very hefty in terms of tooling. And then you can't really change it. You can remove material from the tool, but it will set you back by another couple of grand. And so we had to kind of believe in this. And then once it came out, it looked great, but then you had the whole topic of light refraction. So how matte or how shiny do we want to get it? Do we want to galvanize it for the color? But then you're very limited in what types of colors you can use. And we had exactly these colors in mind. So just the dial took about 5 months of trial and error. By the way, this is why we launched it now officially. Remember, Andy, the launch was planned for October 2025 for our 25th anniversary. But I think it's always worth pushing it out and getting everything completely the way we want it, so we can at least say we stand behind it, and this is exactly what we wanted. So I can proudly say that this is it.
Watches don't come easy, you know.
No, they do
People
not.
always underestimate. I mean, I have a rule. My rule is 3 times. You have to build it 3 times in a certain quantity until it's going to get really good. And
I wish.
according to my experience, actually, you always have to do that.
Yeah, at least 3 times, if
At
not
least,
a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, at least 3 times. I mean, the first time is streaming, building doesn't work. The second time is redesign, building again, okay. Third time, it's going to get good. And after the third time, you're actually really getting good. So if someone says he can do it on the first run, and everybody who is listening who wants to start a watch brand, by the way, Raphael is getting approached quite some time, I guess, through his role in his father's company also by people who want to start watch brands, and we get approached very often. Don't take it easy. It's not easy. It takes time, and it takes a lot of time, and you need to be very patient in what you do.
Yes.
And that also, at the end of the day, is what makes the cost of the whole exercise. Of course, something which has been produced for 50 years, like a standard commodity movement, has been produced in millions of units, and that's why it's a little bit cheaper. But when you want to have something specific, like something like that, yeah, then this is not produced in millions of times, and we need to put a lot of energy into that, in pulling that off, including ultimately how it looks, yeah. And we are very sensitive on things. I mean, you see there are things, for example, in this design, you have we made sure that we have certain corners around this deep down matting laser ablation. Why? Because you see a straight brush there, and when you have a very thin rim on the side and the straight brush is not perfectly done, you will see that instantly. So we have also security built into that decoration, and you can see that same thing on the HORAGE movement. We have a combination of very classic stuff like Geneva stripes. We have flat brush, which is, by the way, one of the most difficult things to do because you cannot hide stuff. We have laser decoration, and what we do not do yet is perlage, for example. Why? I mean, it's a heritage thing, but basically perlage is also a way to hide flaws on a part. You know, nobody says that, but that's the reality. And when you have a very perfect flat brush, like you, for example, can see there, you know, we have one part here, and Raphael has it on these on the edges, on the side parts. Then this is really challenging. Yeah? This is the hard part of the game. Yeah, and I'm very happy with this version of a K2 because I think it found a good home in a very nice company,
It did.
in engineering-driven culture, and I can't think of a better place for
Nope.
our second
And
year
Jan
OEM. Yeah?
Jan in the comments is asking if we're going to keep working together. Yeah, I
I
guess
hate you.
this was really fun, but no, thank you. No, this was very fun, but
Please do.
and we're also have
Yeah.
to continue working together to make more Arias, apparently.
Yes.
And also people asking if the 100 pieces are completely sold out. There are a few pieces allocated to retailers, so reach out to our trusted retailers to see if they have one left. Some of them also didn't put them on sale because they wanted to actually have them in store before they sell them out. But there were very few pieces with our retail partners left. So please reach out to them. You'll find them on our trusted dealer page on formexwatch.com, and maybe you can get one there.
I think.
Absolutely. I think that covers most. If anyone has any other questions, you have literally a couple of minutes to throw your question in before we have to round up this live. It's been great having you on, Raphael. I think it shows how the watch industry really should work, and how it does work in many cases is good people working together and different teams coming together that really enjoy working and producing exceptional products like this, which is much more than individuals. It's definitely a team effort.
Definitely, and it has been very fun.
Yeah,
very much so. It's
Yeah.
been fun. But it's time coming towards the end for you to actually, as you said at the start, you've seen me more than your family, so it's possibly time for you to get that
Yeah.
quota back in the correct
Yes.
line. And I think I'm in the same boat. But yeah, it's been excellent. I think we've not got any more questions coming through. I'll have a quick scroll to make sure there's
That being
any.
said,
I
the
think we've-
traveling was fun. The evening events
It
was
was.
really fun. Were really fun. So, and Dave definitely brings a lot of technical knowledge to the table. So, and is pretty used to talking in front of people. So that makes my job a lot easier. So it was really fun to travel around and present this very rare piece to the world.
Absolutely. And yep, thanks
Someone
for
says it's like
putting your
Tudor
trust
and
in us.
Tennessee.
Does
I mean,
anyone
it's
want
the
to say
same.
it?
Tudor
But
and
better.
Knessi is the same party, you know.
Yeah,
They have a
yeah,
big crown
yeah.
in the background who is paying the party. They have a rich daddy, by the way.
They've got the, I
No,
think they've
no,
got,
they're doing
quote,
a good job, no
the
question.
richest daddy.
Yeah,
they
that
do.
is the richest
Absolutely.
daddy in the
Best
industry.
performing one, that's
And
for sure.
Yes,
the best
for sure.
performing one, and they're doing something right. It's not just a marketing machine, it's actually
Very
an
innovative.
extreme manufacturing
They are. Yeah.
company. And yes, they can sponsor Roger Federer and other guys, but at the end of the day, they really know down the road there what actually they are doing. They are making 250 million components, I calculate that, only movement-wise, and they are just around the corner of Raphael's facility, kind of opposite, and besides kind of
Yeah.
us, and that's where the performance comes from. Yeah, and as far as Mr. Dufour said, they're investing every year 100 million Swiss francs into refurbishing their machine park.
Same as us.
Same as us. Easy, you know.
Oh, hang on.
It's a
The
pocket
decimal
there.
point's in the
But,
wrong place.
It's
Same,
falling out here.
Yeah.
No, but I would
Okay.
also, before we end it, I would like to thank all of the people who actually put in an order, because that means that you trust us, and it also means that you believe that we shouldn't stay in our line. We should take the freedom to try crazy things out, crazy designs out, crazy movements. And that actually encourages us to stay true to the spirit of innovation and trying things out. You know, this could have gone the other way. It was a big risk, and we're so happy that, you know, these sales give us confirmation that people are actually keen to support something like that, and most of them without seeing it in person. You know, so that's a huge thing. I thought we would have to
That
wait
takes
until the
some trust,
retailers
yeah.
have them in store
Oh.
for people to try them on. Obviously, that's always better, and we could see
Yeah.
it at the events. The table was so crowded for hours and
It was.
hours at the events. But that is a huge sign of trust, and
I mean, you have always fulfilled in the past, yeah, and we are trying the same. So fulfilling what you promise is the job. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. We also know that, and I think everybody knows that Formex is top product, acceptable price. Yeah, we are all not cheap, but we are for sure not expensive. And in that case, getting micro rotors in this level, usually where does it start? It starts at 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 Swiss francs somewhere, and then you don't have a product like that, and it's kind of open-ended. So sure, it would be cool to make things more accessible, but realities are realities, and so we can either say, okay, we don't do anything like that. How boring would the industry be? So let's do it, and some people can afford that, and probably others can't afford. I think the most important thing is that we don't forget where we come from, and I'm 100% sure Raphael and Formex will not forget where they come from, offering top products at acceptable prices. And I think that's also where you stay with entry level or regular products, and there must be something on top to also be able to talk to people who want to spend a little bit more on our products. I think it's okay.
Yep,
Nobody should be excluded.
And it keeps the energy and innovation alive, because it's something new. And I think it's fair to say that with ourselves and with all of your team at Formex, it's exciting when you do something that's different, when it's above and it's unusual. It keeps everyone in the company invigorated as well. So it's hopefully a win-win for everybody. We will both be both brands will be in the US actually in July, because we'll be at the Wind Up in Chicago. I will be there. I think you're there as well, Raphael. So if you're going to that show, if you're over in the US and you're coming to Chicago, please do come and see both of us at the show, see what we do, see the watches. Raphael will maybe have sneaked one or two of these samples along with them to show people what they are all about as well. So please do come and see us, and we've got many other events. And if you're ever over in Biel, do speak with either of us. I'm sure we'd be delighted to welcome you in and show you what we do.
Good. So we are trying a good end again. Dave, you need to tell me now, our assistant here.
What we need to do is we need to pretend that it's ending but actually stay smiling at the camera, or else it kind of cuts off inadvertently. So thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, and we will see you all soon again.
Thank you.